Make a cube, scale it, that's your hoverboard, or you can make it yourself in Blender. Now get that hoverboard, add a rigid body to it, give it some mass, some drag, some angular drag. Make sure use gravity's on. Now in Unity, under the hoverboard, add 4 empty objects. Call them front left, front right, back left, and back right. Position these empties on the 4 corners of the board. Just make sure these points are symmetrical and you should be fine. And then make a script. Now make a reference to your rigid body and add a float called multiplier, move force, and turn torque. And in the start, just assign the rigid body component to your variable. Now instead of making references to your 4 anchors, I'd suggest making an array so you can keep things more organized. We're going to use a simple parallel array system, so we can just make a simple array called anchors and make a simple array called hits and set their size to 4. Now make a function called apply force, and the parameters are going to be a transform and a raycast hit. Basically the whole concept of this is that from each 4 points on the hoverboard, you're going to shoot a raycast down, and on the y-axis, depending on how far you are from the ground, the more force get added to balance it out, so that you can hover. Now in the apply force function, add a raycast. Basically just have this line if physics are raycast, and then start it from the anchor position and then make it point down, so negative anchor dot up, and then your out is going to be your raycast hit. Now make a variable called force. So the upward force exerted on these points are going to be the force that keeps the hoverboard hovering. In order to do that, we have to set the force variable as the reciprocal of the distance between the floor and the anchor. Now set the force according to this line of code, which should give you that extra force when you get closer to the ground. Now just use rigidbody.add force at position and then set it to transform.up, multiply it with force, and then multiply it with the multiplier. And for the reference position, just set it to anchor and the force mode acceleration. Go back to your fixed update loop and just make a for loop. And now you're just going to implement the simple parallel array system, make the for loop, and then apply force to each anchor and each hit. Now that should be the entire script to make it stay afloat. Now once you go back into Unity, make a physics material and to make it frictionless. Put that on the box collider on the hoverboard and then set the multiplier to somewhere around 2 or 2.5. Now you should see the hoverboard floating. If you don't, just play around with the variables, make sure you're in fixed update, and it should be good to go. Now that it's floating, all you need to do to create movement is do add force and add torque. Since you have a high enough mass, it's going to feel much snappier and feel much more like an actual hoverboard. Make 2 variables called move force and turn torque. And then using add force and add torque, just set these to each input as you can see here. And with that done, by adjusting these variables, you could just simply make a simple hoverboard system. You can put your character on here and you'll be good to go. Thanks for watching.